on Northeastern was down by as many as 24 points. And at the very end, Jonathan Lee with the game-winning layup to knock off George Mason. It's the 2 versus 3 Delaware and James Madison. And the winner will face off tomorrow night. You'll see that game on the NBC Sports Network at 7 o'clock. As we take a look at the starting lineups, first for the Dukes of James Madison, they come in with Devon Moore, Diouf, Davis, and Goins, but keep your eye on Andre Nation, just a freshman, but this young man, he'll step up and take a shot anytime one's needed. No problem about it.
Without a doubt. He is very similar to Gianicic from George Mason, who we just saw. You're going to see a huge jump in his game from this year to next year. Ultra talented 6'5" wing, slasher, can knock it down, but what I like even more, he can defend as well.
And the starting lineup for the Blue Hens of Delaware. Sadler, Anderson, Jamel Hagans, Carl Baptiste getting the start, and Jarvis Street. Now we highlight Jarvis Street because you look at Devon Sadler, leading scorer of the CAA, but a lot of what he gets is because of the abilities of Jarvis Street.
Jarvis Street is a pure point guard. I love his moxie, love his style. He has an innate ability to get to the free throw line for someone his size. He also is the kind of guy that when this ball club gets going, he's the one initiating the passes to Jamel Hagans on the block or to Sadler coming off of wings.
Delaware is designated as the higher seed, so they will be in the home whites. James Madison, their head coach, Matt Brady, in his 5th year, are the 3 seed. They're designated as the visiting squad. They'll be in their road purple. Monte Ross in his 7th year. He's a Philly native, graduate of Bodine High School, and maybe doing his best job of coaching since he's been at Newark. So a very talented squad on both sides of the scoring table. Our officials for the second semifinal game, Tim Nestor, Roger Ayers, and Les Jones. So a right to play Northeastern on the line and possibly a ticket to the tournament, and we are underway in Richmond. Ron, give us one matchup to look for early on. Of course, anyone that's guarding Devon Sadler is going to be key in this game, but is it the Freak matchup going head-to-head maybe with Devon Moore?
No, I really think it's Hagans going head-to-head against Rashawn Goins. Those 2 guys on the block, whichever one can have the advantages, it's going to go a long way for their ball club in terms of being successful tonight.
And how about Nation, a freshman stepping up and blocking the CAA scoring leader's 3-point attempt? Very athletic teams. We were talking about this prior to this game. You probably give the inside advantage to Delaware with Hagans and Baptiste, but the athletic ability of the Dukes on the outside is amazing.
They're going to give, I think, Delaware a lot of problems, especially when they go really small. They'll put 4 guards on the floor around the small forward and just create havoc defensively.
Sadler tries to come right back and answer after getting his first attempt at block. He comes up short. Showing zone early on, switching over to man-to-man. That shot off the mark, and it's Hagans cleaning up the mess. Here's Street with the ball. Talented point guard. Hagans on a mismatch, and he throws this one away. A.J. Davis smartly throws it up, and he'll go to the line and shoot 2.
When A.J. Davis gets the ball, he's got one thing in mind. In the half court, it's how can I get a shot up. In the open court, how quickly can I get to the rim? And that time, he caught it in the open court, just exploded, took the bump. Now he's going to the free throw line.
While we have a moment, let's bring in the 3rd member of our broadcast team. Here's Mike Corey.
All right, Todd, thanks very much. Talked to Coach Brady in the locker room before the game and said how he's been very pleased with how his team's battled through injuries and adversity this year. It seems to kind of happen to them every other year. They're 2-0 against Delaware this year. He said, well, we've proved that we can beat them. Now we have to prove that we are better. If they can, they're going to be playing for a CAA championship.
No question about it. And Mike, you know as well as Ron and I, this conference, maybe from top to bottom, Ron, the most parity. Any team beats any team on any given night, no question about it.
When this tournament started, we were in our production meeting and we're going over the matchups and trying to figure out who we think could end up in the championship game. And we came up with about 3 or 4 different combinations just because of the parity, as you touched on, in this league. Very, very quality ball in this conference.
So Delaware and their head coach, Monte Ross, decided to go big to start this one. They bring in Carl Baptiste, 6'9" junior. He starts opposite Jamel Higgins, who goes 6'9" as well. Here's Baptiste, a big body down low. This is a mismatch. And Baptiste can't put it in, but he got a good look, and he got deep in the post.
Baptiste is solid. We're going to see some positive things from him, I think, throughout the course of this game. He's taken the place of Brinkley, who has a knee injury, who had a lion's share of those minutes. He stepped in. That's Baptiste, and done a really, really solid job when Brinkley went down with his injury.
Moore gives way to Nation. Nation on the wing, driving across. Baptiste meets him there, and Nation just shrugs it off, goes up. Oh, my goodness sakes!
What more can you say? You got to put a body on him. He had 2 dunks like that in the last game yesterday from the guy guarding him, just not putting a body on him. A.J. Davis is in an excellent zone right now mentally the last 4 games.
The 6'6" senior guard came from Roanoke to put this one down.
Look to the right of your screen. All of a sudden, this body just comes flying out of nowhere, literally flying out of nowhere, and slams it home. Todd, I used to be able to jump like
I was just going to say, I knew you were coming in.
In my younger days, I had legs like that.
Just how you dialed it up. I'm calling coach to confirm that.
Look, I dreamed about doing plays like that all the time.
Well, the bad news for Monte Ross is the first highlight comes by way of the Duke's A.J. Davis, and Jarvis Street, his sensational point guard, picks up his 2nd foul. Matt Brady touching on A.J. Davis has had a rough year. The transfer coming over from Wyoming, and he really just wasn't feeling it. But as of February, Coach Brady says he's definitely bought into the system, and he's connected now what we're trying to do.
You've seen a little bit of James Madison's scramble defense and picked up full court as Rashawn Goins picked up the foul in transition, but their pressure with this small lineup with Goins as the center can give teams a lot of problems.
No question about it. Goins, who goes out and fouls one of the better 3-point shooters in the CAA, Kyle Anderson, will go to the line shooting nearly 75%. He'll get 3.
See what happens, and this is where the chess match takes place. JMU goes small. Delaware has the advantage in terms of size, but does the size of the JMU Dukes give them so much difficulty that it forces now Delaware to go small? We'll see how this matchup plays out.
And you've seen Delaware enough this year. Do they have the personnel on that bench for Monte Ross to match going small with the Dukes?
I think they can. What they'll do is they'll bring in a guy like a Larry Savage. He's a utility guy at 6'5", that can defend multiple positions, so they can go small if they have to. But they're going to want to keep Jamel Higgins on the floor as much as possible.
Kyle Anderson hits all 3, so it's a 5-3 Dukes lead early on here in Richmond. Remember, the winner of this game is moving on to play Northeastern in the CAA Championship. Foul called away from the ball. Ball go back over to the Blue Hens. This full court press has really given Delaware some issues. The athletic ability and the way they fly around on defense. Sadler left wide open. Rims out. We know AJ can hit from close range, and unable to hit on that 3. Goes back over to Delaware. Sadler going to work, kicking it out. Do you like the ball in Sadler's hands as a distributor, or would you rather see 3 doing all the dishing?
I like just what Monte Ross does. He mixes it up. Yep. I don't think he's a guy that you want to have a steady diet of creating because of his ability to score, but I like at certain situations to get out the way, give him the ball, and just let him make the decision.
Sadler unable to connect on the runner. And the Dukes come away with it. Despite their lack of size really on the interior, James Madison does a pretty nice job on the defensive and offensive end of the boards.
Well, they make up for their lack of height with their athleticism. This is a very, very athletic ball club. You have a lot of interchangeable parts. It'll be interesting to see if Delaware can take advantage on the defensive end, on the offensive end on post-ups. If Delaware can get Higgins posted up deep or get a guy like a Carl Baptiste posted up, because they don't have many options. You're going to see, though, JMU, if they start to feel that Delaware has the advantage, to go a little bit deeper in their bench and play guys like a Taylor Bessett.
First substitutions of the game, and it is Taylor Bessett coming in for Matt Brady's Dukes. And, of course, across the way, Larry Savage stepping in as 3 with his 2 fouls, goes to the bench. Nation's pass knocked away, gets it back, comes up short. Sadler comes away with it. Difficult for the Blue Hens early on. You watch as he cuts through the lane. He gets 2 or 3 big bodies crashing and bumping him and chipping him as he goes in, and he's fouled on the drive. 15:45 to play in the first half, and one of the great highlights of the season coming by way of A.J. Davis. Back inside historic Richmond Coliseum here in Richmond, Virginia. Semifinal number 2 of the CAA men's tournament, where the 2 seed and the 3 seed are meeting up, Delaware and James Madison. 5-3 Dukes on top of the Blue Hens early on, alongside Ron Thompson, Mike Corey. I'm Todd Harris, glad to have you with us on a beautiful Sunday afternoon in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Anderson. That's why Goings fouled him on his first attempt. He knows exactly what he can do, and quickly Nation and the Dukes come back, and Jamel Higgins, the conference defensive player of the year, makes sure that goes nowhere.
Whoa, talk about meet me at the glass. Higgins was up really high on that one. Right after that last shot on the other end, Kyle Anderson got hit in the eyes, getting ready to come out now. I think it's maybe a contact that's kind of shifted a little bit on him.
So Anderson, with 6 points on the day, will come out and seek a little attention, and that'll bring in Terrell Rogers at 5'8", the freshman at Fort Mill, South Carolina. Madison staying with a full court press. Sadler gives it over quickly to Rogers. And talk about a young man who's got the genes. His father was quite a player back in the day.
Oh, Shawnte Rogers, his dad out of GW from Baltimore, was excellent, excellent ball player.
Shots not falling for James Madison that time as Ron Curry unable to connect. You see the athletic ability of the Dukes and just how quickly they play. You look to a matchup possibly in the championship game against Northeastern, which is more like a Delaware. It's going to slow down. They're going to run a half-court offense. Who do you think favors better against the Huskies?
Well, you know, it's hard to go against Northeastern using the job that they've done, but I would say that a team like a Delaware, a team that has solid interior play from multiple guys, and then you throw in a Devon Sadler, who's a huge tough guard. As our guy A.J. Davis comes down, nails another three. He's in a complete zone the last 4 games.
7 points on the day so far for A.J. Davis and a dunk, which I'm sure we will be showing you more of. But first, let's get a little replay of this three-pointer.
Well, he's unconscious. When he comes down in transition, you can't continue to back up if you're Savage. If he's in the gym, he's in his range. So you got to pick him up right when he gets across half court. And you love to see a guy regroup. This guy was in the doghouse, was listless. I went to a few practices. Mentally, he just wasn't there early on, and he's come out of it and is playing excellent basketball.
Defensively recognizing that play, and Sadler does a great job of making sure Nation's shot goes nowhere. Sadler had the numbers, probably should have pulled up there. It's back and forth. Here comes Moore. He'll pull up for the 15-footer. Off the mark. Baptiste rips away the rebound. And this time, Monte Ross gets the attention of his star. Devon Sadler says, let's slow this one down. Savage drives in the lane, backs up. Knocked away, and the Dukes will come away with it.
Didn't like that possession that time by Savage. He's not a creator. He's a straight line driver. After a few passes are made, he's not your initial option when you want to go one-on-one and try to get a basket.
So with Jarvis 3 on the line, it goes to the shoulders of Devon Sadler to run the offense. And as you talked about it, Monte Ross, it really takes away an option for him, sprinkle in a little Sadler at him, running the point. Hagan's now driving in, has nowhere to go. Shot clock down to 15. Sadler just can't seem to get on track.
Well, he's going to have to make the adjustment. The officials are letting him play just a bit. When he's driving in there, they're not going to just give him those little ticky-tack fouls. He's got to be strong and possibly get fakes at the end of his dribble. Right here, gets into the pocket. There is some contact. He wants to start to try to use his ball fakes because the officials aren't going to bail him out on that.
So Jarvis 3 with 2 fouls, checks into the game. How about this? Hagan says, I saw your dunk, A.J. Davis.
Excellent rip-through drive that time by Hagan. So if you're JMU, you have to have weak side help. Someone that needed to rotate over and give Bessick some help.
Charles Cook now on the floor, as is number 1, Enoch Hood, checking in for the Dukes. Spinning move, nothing there. Sadler comes away with it. He wants to run. Gets the contact, and they're going to call the charge.
Sadler's always in attack mode. He gets it here in transition, and you see JMU, they're sprinting hard, trying to get back in. Credit JMU for getting back, getting their feet set. Ron Curry did an excellent job at taking it in the chest. You see right here, hands straight up, his feet are solid on the ground. Excellent call by the official.
1 point, James Madison lead, 12:23 to go here in the first half. Enoch Hood's going to get called for the charge.
Good defensive rotation. That's what you call team defense right there. Higgins read the play perfectly, came over outside that restricted area, got his feet set, and nailed it.
Well, you saw the body language of Enoch Hood, 6'9" sophomore from Norfolk, Virginia. He had a whole head of steam there.
Well, what's happening because of Delaware's size with Baptiste as well as Higgins, JMU's going deep into their bench, and they're playing some guys that they normally wouldn't play that long, or at least this early in the game.
Full court pressure. They're going to burn through some guys' energy reserves, and Davis called for the foul. A.J. Davis, someone who they certainly do not want to lose. Brady imploring his squad to settle down. We got plenty of time. Davis just picking up his first. Sadler, however, the leading scorer in the CAA, 0 for 6 from the field, but he does have 6 rebounds. Anderson driving with 6 points. He's knocked to the ground. And they're going to get Enoch Hood for the second foul. He's just been in for 2 or 3 minutes, picks up 2 fouls. Sensational highlight reel so far here in the Richmond Coliseum at the CAA tournament. How about this follow? We'll be back with more. 11:57 to play here in the first half.
Man, my mom been through a lot this season. My mom been through a lot this season. My mom had, you know, brain cancer. So I've been going back and forth to Columbus to Virginia, and just to see her push through everything every day, it's amazing. I don't think I could do it. She smiles every day when she may take between 25 and 30 pills and be back and forth in the hospital. So, I mean, to see what she does every day and still have a smile and
low-scoring affair here in semifinal number 2 of the Richmond Coliseum. You were looking at senior Devon Moore, the young man out of Columbus, Ohio, and to say he has a lot on his plate would be an understatement.
Man, my mom been through a lot this season. My mom had, you know, brain cancer. So I've been going back and forth to Columbus to Virginia, and just to see her push through everything every day, it's amazing. I don't think I could do it. She smiles every day when she may take between 25 and 30 pills and be back and forth in the hospital. So, I mean, to see what she does every day and still have a smile and still want to, you know, get up and fight the cancer, I can't do nothing but be here and try to give it my all.
He has certainly done that. Devon Moore with a 20-point showing last night against William and Mary to get the Dukes here into the semifinals.
When you hear stories like that,
Yep.
it just puts everything in perspective, doesn't it? And it brings the human side to a lot of these athletes. You forget that they have lives, they have emotions, they have things that they're going, that they're dealing with on and off the court. That, you know, they're not just ball players. Student
athletes in a whole world of very serious problems on the outside right now for Devon Moore. Of course, we certainly think of his mom and wishing the best for her. Delaware with a 1-point lead and a substitution coming. And Josh Brinkley, number 32, another big body from Monte Ross and his Blue Hens. This is Higgins with a jump hook, and he's fouled. And it's going to be Enoch Hood, who checked into the game just about 3 minutes ago, and he's picked up 3 fouls.
Todd, when you take a look at Brinkley, you touched on him briefly, number 32 in white for Delaware. He was a starter early on. You know, he sprained his knee 4 games ago, and he hasn't been able to get back into the flow of where he once was, and that's why Baptistas had to come in and fill a void. But he was a huge part of what Monte Ross did with this ball club during the season.
Higgins hits both, pushes the lead to 12-9. We've got 11:15 to go, and Delaware in the midst of a 6-0 run, getting their offense from the charity stripe so far because Sadler, the leading scorer of the CAA, has been held in check. That man has not been held in check. A.J. Davis. 9 points so far for the young man out of Columbus, Ohio. Higgins going right at Enoch Hood. Gets double teamed that time. Has to dish it away. It's going to stay with the Blue Hens.
When Higgins gets double teamed right there on the post, he has to look opposite. He did an excellent job yesterday at when he got double teamed at finding the open man. Today he has to go back to the mindset that he had yesterday against William & Mary and try to find the open man.
Three checking back into the game. And a shot clock violation. And that time, you know, Enoch Hood has picked up 3 quick fouls, but he stayed with 3. If he had backed off, he'd given an open 3, and he didn't. And the shot clock violation.
Todd, take a look at Higgins right here on the post. The double team comes. When that double team comes, you see right at the top of your screen, you see Anderson wide open. He has to get in his mind, have to make a quick post move. If not, look opposite and find my shooters.
So despite 9 turnovers, the Blue Hens have the lead. As the pace has settled down greatly, JMU came out flying. Dunks, everything going their way, and now they've gone a little bit cold now that they've dropped into a more slow-down conventional half-court offense. Reed driving, gets the double team, gets it up on the glass, but can't get the fall, but Higgins comes away with it. Brinkley, underneath. Knee looked pretty good there.
Well, he strained, though. You know, he almost brought the whole house down because he couldn't quite get up high enough, but hopefully that'll get his confidence going. You know, you hate to see a guy who's had a really, really solid career get injured right at the end of the season when it's crunch time and you know inside his heart he really wants to contribute even more.
A much different looking Dukes team over the last 4 or 5 minutes, and Moore changes that. Devon Moore goes right to the rack. Anderson off the screen, off the iron. Cook from the corner. And that's a 2-pointer. His foot was on the line. So JMU back in front, 8:40 now to play in the first half. The winner moves on to face Northeastern tomorrow night in the championship game. We'll see right here on the NBC Sports Network.
One thing's for certain, Todd, officials have been consistent in this game. When you drive, you have to go strong and use your ball fakes because they're not bailing you out when those guards drive in. And take a look at 3. He drives hard. There is some contact, but the officials have been consistent. They're not making that call. So as a guard or as a forward, you have to now make the adjustment.
Head coach Matt Brady recognizing they might have dodged a bullet there with Enoch Hood. He would have picked up his 4th foul here in the first half, so he'll take a seat. Sadler, shot blocked, and they're going to call the foul on Taylor Bessick. The 6'9" freshman out of Philadelphia thought he got all ball, but don't they always?
Now, you always think it. You know, you think the official's crazy every time he blows the whistle, or you think the coach is crazy when he takes you out for missing a shot. But credit Sadler that time for doing an excellent job at slowing down a bit, baiting the defender to foul him on the wrist to get this opportunity to go to the free throw line.
Sadler just cannot find his offensive mojo here in the first half.
And I think you have to give a lot of credit to JMU. When they go small and they scramble all over the place defensively, they've taken Delaware out of the normal flow in terms of the natural progression when they come up the floor and get into their offensive sets.
Devon Sadler getting his first point, 0 for 6 from the field, 1 for 2 from the line. All even at 15 now. Nation on the mismatch against Baptiste, but gets it to fall. Beautiful left-handed layup.
Todd, that was a prime example of JMU taking advantage of the guards they have on the floor. They spread the court. Nation realized he was one-on-one with the center and just put his head down and drove hard to the basket.
Brinkley once again left wide open, and a smart pass by Sadler finds it. Curry for three. Baptiste can't get it to go, and the rebound, and he's fouled on the backside. Andre Nation finds himself cutting across the lane, cutting left, cutting right, lays it up and in. We've got ourselves a tie ball game. Wednesday night rivalry is back on the NBC Sports Network. This week, the Flyers head to New Jersey to battle with the Devils. It's Wednesday night rivalry presented by Coors Light. Coverage begins at 6:30 Eastern on the NBC Sports Network. Well, there you're looking at Josh Brinkley, the 6'6" forward from right here in Richmond, Virginia, and Douglas Freeman High School, coming off the bench, and there you see him stretching his knee, but he's had a big week so far as we check in with Mike Corey.
Yeah, it really has been, Todd. Friday night after the CAA banquet here in Richmond at the Marriott, Josh proposed to his girlfriend Chelsea Lawrence, and she accepted. He is engaged now to a senior volleyball player from Delaware, Chelsea Lawrence, and of course his whole family, as you said, here from the Richmond area. Homecoming for him on his Facebook page this week. He said, "I'm coming home. This is the end of the road for me in Delaware. I'm going to make it count. This is our year. Go Blue Hens." The birds about to start flocking, so we'll see if his words ring true here today.
Did you get a save the date card or anything? I was invited.
Oh, man, I didn't get the invite either.
Nothing.
My hat's off to a young man, senior in college, getting engaged. Woo.
That's a big step. That's a big step.
Huge step. Hope he knows what's in front of him.
Nothing but good. 18-17, Blue Hens on top. Dukes come back with their high-flying rotation of athletic guards with Moore, Davis, and Nation playing out on the wings. Couple that with number 2, Ron Curry, and really almost a 4-guard rotation with one big in the middle in the form of number 22, Taylor Bessick. And immediately, Monte Ross has to substitute Baptiste out and get a smaller, more athletic body in there. Anderson almost steals it away. Bessick hits. from today, it'll be Selection Sunday. Will one of these teams be in the field for the big dance? Congratulations to those teams that are already in. Florida Gulf Coast getting it done. Tommy Amaker and the Crimson of Harvard getting it done. Tomorrow night, we'll add another name to that list of those invited to the big dance. Will it be Northeastern or one of these two teams?
And there's nothing more enjoyable than seeing these guys, once they realize they've made the big dance, some of them for the first and only time in their college career. It's just a joyous time of year, exciting time watching NCAA basketball this time.
You've been involved in that, obviously, with your family, as a player, as a coach. Is there a better time? I mean, for the fans, it's the absolute best time.
But for players, it's the same deal. You know, it's postseason play. You're playing for all the marbles. You know, you get the most media attention. You get the most national attention. You know, you go to college to put yourself in a situation to try and win it all. And it's just an exciting, exciting time.
And when we're talking about the big dance, Anderson kicks it down to Brinkley, the newly engaged Brinkley, and Hagans gets tied up in the air. He's called for a travel. So did you see me get hit in the chops? As a former coach at Division I level and a player, obviously, did you like staying close to home in your friendly confines, or was it kind of nice to maybe see another part of the country and play in a new arena?
Well, honestly, it didn't really matter, you know, because the teams you're playing are so tough, so competitive. You know, you would ideally, I guess, want to stay somewhat close to home, so it would make it easier for fans. But once the adrenaline gets going and you get yourself going, you really don't, you start to block everything out. It's just, you're in the moment. So you were just excited to be there, and you just wanted to be as prepared as you could. There were a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of sleepless nights. You know, it's joyous on one angle in terms of getting there, but you know it's going to be about a month to 2.5 weeks of nonstop sleep and nonstop work.
No question about it. This kicks off. Those sleepless nights will be next Saturday. Selection Sunday coming up, and we'll see who makes the field. JMU. A beautiful three on the wing. Once again, Ron Curry finding stroke.
Great job by Mason. JMU, they're sprinting the floor really hard, getting terrific spacing, and they're letting Devon Moore just make the decision of which guy to throw to and which mismatch to take advantage of.
What's so amazing about it is the way Devon Moore does it and the speed he does it at. The decision making as Brinkley gets the newly engaged bounce. 6 points for Josh Brinkley coming off the bench. 22-20 as we approach 4:20 to play in the first half. Northeastern already into the championship game tomorrow night. Up in the air, but couldn't finish the deal.
But again, good recognition by JMU to figure out where the mismatch was. Diaz caught Hagans on the perimeter, put it down on the deck, got hard, got the easy layup, he just couldn't convert it.
Saddler, too much dribbling. He even thought it was off of him. And he was backing away, but the officials say, no, it's Delaware's ball. But the combination has been working. More to Curry, spelling more three-pointers. 22-20, Duke's on top of the Blue Hens.
no better way to send them off the right way than to honor them with our effort.
For the CAA's leading scorer, Sadler. Wow. No look pass to Higgins. Bonds for three. Not going to happen. Delaware wins it on Senior Day.
.37 to play here in the first half. Semifinal number 2 from the Richmond Coliseum in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Alongside Ron Thompson, Mike Corey, Todd Harris, glad to have you with us. Northeastern has already punched their ticket into the CAA championship game tomorrow night here in Richmond. One of these two teams will join them for the right to move on to the NCAA tournament.
Todd, Delaware's had really sloppy play this half. That right there was their 11th turnover. And to have 11 turnovers and only be down 2, they have to feel pretty solid about that. But they're going to have to clean up their offensive efficiency.
Motion offense coming, and young man who's been on fire, Ron Curry, unable to hit on that 3. In your playing days at Georgetown or coaching at Ball State, Oregon State, wherever have you, you've probably seen a lot of very young athletic teams as Anderson hits one. How do you counteract the smaller, I don't say the faster players when you have bigger kids?
So usually you try to get the ball to half court and then go inside. And that's why you see Brinkley with a lot of success. Also, you can't try to match their speed, you know, if you don't have it. They just have to slow down, protect the ball, and get back as you see more drive to the basket and finish.
Devon Moore with a beautiful drive, switches off to his left hand and gets it to drop, and playing inspired ball, as he told you earlier in this half. His mother Carol home battling brain cancer, and we wish her nothing but the best, and her son is doing his job tonight for the Dukes. Savage, that's a 2-pointer off the rim. Nation with the rebound. You talk about trying to keep your identity. Delaware obviously not a small, fast team, but when you play a team like that, it seems like there's a tendency to get sucked into playing their style or try to match what they're doing.
And that's where you have to really grit your teeth and stay disciplined to play your style of basketball. And credit JMU, they've totally changed how they're playing. The sets that they're running now are totally different from the sets they were running earlier in the year. Matt Brady has found a system for the guys that he currently has, and this guy right here is taking full advantage of this new system.
Devon Sadler's bodying him up, and dare I say Sadler probably has 15 to 20 pounds on him, and he just has no answer.
Well, Moore is so much taller than most of the guys. At 6'4" at that point guard position, he's up above most of his defenders.
Anderson picks it off. Higgins underneath, gets contact. He was too far under the glass, but gets it back again. He goes up strong and puts it in. And that is exactly goes to your point of where Delaware has that advantage. The bigs and banging down below in the glass, that is certainly going to favor the Blue Hens.
Well, JMU's going to be scrappy because they have to be because of the lack of size. Now, if Delaware mentally can get that in their head and just slow down a bit, be a little bit more aggressive with the ball, they can throw it down on the inside all night.
And I know from a coach's perspective, you've been there before. These are 18 and 19-year-olds that you're trying to get to settle down and calm down.
And that's the hard thing as a coach. You know, you go over scouting reports, you tell the guys over and over, but when the game gets started, the energy just gets going.
I want to remind you, coming up at halftime, Liam McHugh and Donnie Marshall are in our college basketball studio. They'll take you through Northeastern's huge comeback earlier today and the Indiana-Michigan Big Ten showdown. We'll have all that coming up at the half.
Donnie Marshall in the studio.
I know.
That's pretty strong. He had a nice game himself as UConn.
I wonder how they're getting along because, you know, Liam's spending a little time up at Syracuse. And Donnie's a UConn guy.
UConn and Syracuse in the studio. You got the Hoyas right here doing play-by-play. This is NBC making some great decisions.
31 seconds now remaining in the half. It's 25-27. JMU has the lead. Delaware will play for the final shot, putting the ball into the CAA's leading scorer in Devon Sadler. Sadler with Andre Nation, the freshman, guarding him. Remember, they started the game off Nation blocking Sadler's three-point attempt. Sadler goes to the left, gets a good look, rims out, and with 5 seconds left, Moore is going to push it. And Curry on the trail is going to go to the line. 3.8 seconds to play in the half, and once again, Devon Moore on the defensive end, triggering offense.
Todd, Devon Moore's confidence is just rising and rising. Right here, he pushes it. He sees Anderson coming, accelerates, slows down just a bit, just to make the pass, to put them in a situation to be at the free throw line. His comfort level at running this ball club is extremely, extremely high.
So Curry with one more, 3.8 seconds. Monte Ross telling his kids what he wants, and immediately he takes a timeout. Can't be happy with that change. They had the ball, only down by 2 with a chance to tie it at the half, and now they find themselves down by 4 with 3.8 seconds. All right, I know you love drawing stuff up in the sand. Give me something special.
Well, you know what the special thing is? Try to get it to Sadler and get out the way. You know, they're going to try to give it to him as deep as he can. They're going to try to give it to him on the move, I would imagine, going towards half court and see what his chances are at throwing up a long one. Sadler or a guy like Jarvis 3.
Well, we saw it in the first game with the struggling of talented players from Northeastern unable to get on, but Sadler 0 for 8, just 1 point here in the first half. This is a young man that's averaging over 20 points a game, and the Dukes have done a great job keeping him to 1.
But you can't let off the gas in terms of the defensive intensity that you give him, because he's been in this situation before. It is nothing for him to get 20 points in a half.
Kicks it off. Anderson's going to have to hurry. Gets it out. And just off the rim, a well-designed play by Monte Ross and his Blue Hens. But Anderson unable to hit the 3. So it's a 29-25 halftime lead for the 3 seed. The Dukes leading the 2 seed, Delaware Blue Hens, as we check in with Mike Corey.
All right, thanks very much, Todd. Coach, first half, low-scoring affair. You've held Devon Sadler to 1 point for Delaware. Talk about how your defense has done in this first half.
Well, I thought our defense was fine. I thought we had some turnovers that led to a couple of their baskets there, especially in the last 4 or 5 minutes of the half. Our defensive Sadler was good. He's a great player. Hard to contain him for like that for 2 halves. So we're going to have to make sure that we hold everybody else kind of in harm's way. The other guy that we defended pretty well was Jarvis 3, who's a terrific player.
Balanced effort by you guys. What has to happen in the second half for you to come away with a win?
Well, we got to take better care of the basketball. And then when we get out, when we get defensive rebounds, we got to try and push in transition. And then we got to keep guarding their ball screens and keep guarding those guards on the perimeter because they are so talented.
Coach, appreciate it. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Todd?
Thank you, Mike. 29-25. James Madison on top of Delaware. Right now, we send you to our college basketball halftime studio. Cap. Welcome back to historic Richmond, Virginia, the Commonwealth, home for the CAA basketball tournament here on a beautiful Sunday afternoon as we take a look at our first half stats with the Dukes leading 29-25.
Todd, if you're Monte Ross, during that halftime segment, you talk to your guys about this category right here. That's far too much. Because they had difficulty in their half-court sets, it inadvertently affected right there on the offensive end, only 27% from the floor, and they have to do a much better job. You see right there, Higgins, bad pass out of the double team. Sadler careless with the cross-court pass right there. And then here, just senseless. You got to go meet that ball with two hands, and they have to do a much better job at taking care of the ball so that they can get things going in the second half. And that guy right there, Devon Sadler, they have to find a way to get him going, get him in a rhythm.
No question about it. Credit to Matt Brady, his 5th year as the head coach at James Madison, doing a great job of scouting Delaware because a lot of those turnovers were created because guys were in the right place and read the offensive set that the Blue Hens were trying to accomplish. So here we go, second half of play. Goins goes right at Higgins, undersized by a few inches, and he hits the first shot of the second half. His first bucket of the night as we check in with Mike Corey.
All right, thanks, Todd. And yeah, to add on what you were saying, Ron, offensively, Monte Ross just talked to him and just said they need to move the ball much better. Defensively, he thought that they were fine, but he's more concerned on the offensive end of getting better ball rotation.
And that's going to help. Thank you, Mike, as Jarvis Street has checked into the game. Remember, he was saddled with 2 quick fouls early in the game, and that really changed things, putting the point guard responsibilities on the shoulder of Devon Sadler.
If I'm JMU, I go right back inside to Rashawn Goins. The last possession, that's what they're doing now. They're clearing everyone out. He just measured Higgins the last possession and shot over him.
Goins and the leading defensive player in the CAA, Defensive Player of the Year, in Jamel Higgins, and easier said than done as JMU nursing a 6-point lead, largest of the game. Nation hung up, gets the bump from Kyle Anderson in the lane. Well, beginning Thursday at noon, the NBC Sports Network launches the Atlantic 10 Men's Basketball Tournament with the entire first round in one day. Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Coverage begins Thursday at noon right here on the NBC Sports Network. Office productivity is probably going to be at an all-time low coming up this weekend with Selection Sunday. And we talked in the first half about when you were playing at Georgetown and then in your career as a coach, what it was like to travel. But I imagine in your days playing at Georgetown with your dad, when that crew came to any part of the country, it was kind of like the show has come to town.
It really was, you know, just in terms of the energy you got going through the airports, or once you got to your hotel, the amount of people that were there, and the reception wasn't always good, you know, because we were the team that you loved to hate, but either way, you know, that time of year, the energy was just so electric.
And how about your brother John Thompson III doing a heck of a job? Huge win yesterday over Syracuse.
So proud of the job he's done this year. They started the Big East season ranked around, picked to be finished 6th or 7th. I think this is one of his best coaching jobs he's done since he's been at Georgetown.
They get the share of the Big East title alongside Marquette, and won't lament the changes that are coming because of TV money and football restructuring, but it's sad to see that Big East. I think my calendar was always the Big East tournament in Madison Square Garden. That was appointment TV viewing you had to see.
Well, you know, times change. You know, and a lot of people are going up. I can't believe you're breaking up the Big East, but you know, in this day and time with television, with the internet, I think kids just want to play quality ball against quality opponents and get seen, and they're going to have that opportunity, and the competition is still going to be extremely high.
CAA has one bid on the line, and we'll decide that tomorrow night, 7 o'clock here on the NBC Sports Network. Will it be Northeastern or one of these teams that are marching their way into the madness? It'll be interesting, but so much parity in the CAA this year, and getting credit to so many talented coaches like Matt Brady and Monte Ross and Coach Cohen, and we just saw earlier his squad down 24 points, and they come back to get the 2-point win over George Mason and Paul Hewitt. Jarvis Street has been in the ball game, but really has not been affecting the ball game as much, and Right there, another turnover. Goes the way of the Dukes. They got a 3-on-1. Send it up!
Great job, I thought, that time by A.J. Davis at giving the ball up early. He blew out, took 2 quick dribbles, but he gave it up to make the defense go towards the ball, which opened him up for that wide open lob.
Not 1, but 2 highlight dunks on the day for A.J. Davis. How about this? How defense gets it over to offense.
Good job. A good defensive stop, as you touched on, and then they're off to the races. A.J. Davis gets it, but watch here. He gives it up to make the defense react to the ball, and then he gets the lob. Credit JMU for their offensive transition off of the steal. 35-25 JMU.
Ten-point lead for the number 3 seed. This was the game earlier today in semifinal number 1. They were down 31-7, and the Northeastern Huskies came storming back. Last possession for the Patriots, couldn't get it done, and they put it in the hands of the co-captain, Jonathan Lee, with the left. So Northeastern is into the championship game tomorrow night. We've got ourselves a 10-point lead here for JMU on top of Delaware. And Delaware just has not been able to basically impose their will and their big men on the smaller but much more athletic James Madison Dukes.
I think you got to give an awful lot of credit to the job Matt Brady has done at late in the season reconstructing this ball club within the group of guys that he's had. He's changed the style of play. He's gone small. They're showing more energy and athleticism in their full-court defenses. They're playing at a faster pace as Brady picks the pocket of Nation at the top.
The Nation comes back and strips it away. So a great job by the freshman to not say, you know what, I got my pick pocket, let him just go ahead and take it. He comes back and makes a tremendous defensive play.
Watch this. As a coach, you always want to know, you're going to make mistakes, but you want to know how you react from those mistakes. And credit Nation, as you touched on it, getting up off the floor, sprinting his tail back and getting the block.
Right now, Monte Ross is trying to figure out how to get this young man going, and that's a nice start as Sadler goes crashing into the cheerleader section of the Blue Hens. So it's numbers for the Dukes. Goings mishandles the interior pass and kicks it out to Cook. You know what? I like the fact that they give him confidence, but I don't think there's any way Goins can get the better of Hagans on multiple turns, because we're talking about the conference defensive player of the year.
Especially how these officials have called this game on the interior. That could have, in most games, officials would have called a foul, but they're letting those guys play, so Goins has to make an adjustment.
Baptiste cleaning up on the offensive end. Down to a 6-point lead. See the respect that Moore gets. He started driving on the right-hand side, and 3 jerseys quickly converged on him. 15-23 to play in this ball game, and the Dukes of JMU have a 6-point lead. Welcome back to NBC Sports Network's coverage of the CAA tournament presented by Janny King. On a beautiful day here in the Commonwealth, the capital city of Richmond, we've got ourselves a good one, 35-29, JMU on top of Delaware as we check in with Mike Corey.
All right, Todd, thanks very much. Every coach had something to say in that last huddle for Delaware, just a variety of different things. Just saying that they needed energy the entire time. They feel like they're starting to get back into it. Offensive rebounding a big key, among other things, for them in that last timeout.
All right, thank you very much. Coming up on 15 minutes to play in this low-scoring affair, JMU pushing the pace, and Delaware just unable to get themselves in an offensive rhythm. Three with the rebound. As you pointed out, Ron, they're letting them play. Wow. Hagans with his second big dunk of the game. Now, like you, if I was Delaware, I'd go back to Hagans again and again. You were saying go back to Goins again and again. I'm saying go with Hagans, as Delaware is now on a 6-0 run.
Well, certainly Hagans has the size advantage. He has the leaping advantage over just about all the bigs on the court for JMU.
Baptiste. Sadler looking. Remember, he is the leading scorer in the conference now, just with 3 points. Turns, fires off the mark. Shot clock down to 12. Good matchup here. Oh, beautiful dish. fake it once, bring it back, and then give it to the big man. Highlights continue to come from the Dukes. Devon Moore with a beautiful assist. Lead back up to 6. Sadler drives here. He is fouled. Let's go back and look at this one more time.
When in doubt, give it to your best ball handler. And you see Moore giving you a little bit of a Rajon Rondo fake there and finds Goins open underneath for the easy put in.
5 assists on the day for Moore, doing a fantastic job. A little bit of Houdiniism right there, as they call it, trickery. Had everyone fooled. Anderson, don't want to leave him too wide open. Rims out, Baptiste with a follow. And I was at a practice recently at Newark, Delaware, and the coaches were telling Baptiste, just dunk those. Don't worry about putting it back softly. Big man can get up. Just dunk those home.
He's one of those guys that I think is better offensively than he gives his own self-credit.
You know, overthinks it?
Exactly, overthinks it. Sometimes passes up shots that he should take. He's really skilled down there on the block, has a nice right-hand jump hook. That time, he was just quicker off the floor and a little bit larger and stronger than the JMU Dukes.
8 rebounds on the day for Baptiste, the junior from Pittstown, New Jersey, a transfer from St. Joseph. He'll be back next year for Monte Ross. So Baptiste, a 67% free throw shooter, calmly steps up, knocks both in. He'll get a breather, and will bring in the newly engaged Josh Brinkley. So it's a 4-point lead for James Madison, and you made a good point earlier in the game, Ron, how if JMU gets into their type of ball game, their flow with their smaller athletic guards, it's going to be lights out for Delaware. But you see Delaware now slowing it down and getting their bigs more involved, and it's definitely swung the way of the Blue Hens.
JMU did an excellent job early at taking advantage of the matchups with these smaller sizes. As you see, Ron Curry nails the 3 in the deep corner. They have to get back to ball movement, taking advantage of their mismatches. Which bigger guys guarding their smaller guy and attack him.
And that's a freshman now with 8 points, and Curry as 3 drives the lane, gets it up, can't get the fall, gets his own rebound and puts it back in. He's been quiet tonight. First basket of the game for Jarvis Street, who had 2 quick fouls in this ball game, which sent him to the bench for Monte Ross. That about would have brought down the house with the folks wearing purple. Opportunity now for Delaware. Cut the lead down to 2 or 3. Big power move by Higgins. Jamel Higgins.
Quick spin that time by Higgins. He realizes he had the smaller A.J. Davis on him. When he caught it, just dropped baseline and exploded.
So the lead now down to 3, 11:50 to play in this ball game. The winner of this game plays tomorrow night at 7 o'clock here on the NBC Sports Network for the CAA title. They're going to get a goaltend. Count the basket. The chess match continues. And Ron Curry, the freshman from Pennsauken, New Jersey, has been lethal from outside. 42-37 Duke. 11 minutes, 42 seconds until we find out who will face off with Northeastern tomorrow night here in the Richmond Coliseum. And this was a scene earlier this year. Looked like Delaware had a victory, but with just about a second left in the game, beautiful inbounds pass, and Mr. Nation puts it home for the come-from-behind victory as JMU went into Newark and stole that victory away from Monte Ross and the Blue Hens. You still have the option of Sadler if you're Ross and Delaware, but he has not been able to find his rhythm today offensively, being held to just 3 points, averaging over 20, the leader in the CAA.
And you got to give JMU an awful lot of credit because of they put multiple guys on them, and all of their guards are 6'4" or taller and long and athletic, and they've really taken him out of his rhythm.
3 awkward in the air. Monte Ross wanted a foul. Brinkley there to clean it up, and he's fouled and will go to the line. And I think you bring up a good point, knowing how good Devon Sadler is, the young man out of Aberdeen, Maryland. You know, Matt Brady has done a great job telling Mike Corey, he said, he's a great player. We got to do something. He's thrown 2 or 3 different guys, giving him different looks every time, and just cannot find his rhythm.
JMU, they have a lot of length. They're not ultra tall, but everyone's in that between 6'4" and 6'6" range, and Sadler's 6'2". And in addition to them being 6'4" and 6'6", they're athletic. So he has to make 2 and 3 motions, and then once he makes that motion, even the guy that's coming to help is someone that is just as athletic as the initial guy that was guarding.
Nation, Davis, Moore, all taking their turns guarding the CAA scoring leader. They have effectively held him to just 3 points as we go under 11 minutes to play. It's a 42-39 JMU lead. Wow, Nation attacking the rim. And they're going to call another goaltend as hands were hung and the rim was rattled just a bit too much.
Excellent aggression. I like the movement by Nation. Nation has the ability to take this jump shot, but he puts it on the deck, goes strong. You see right there Brinkley's hand as well as Hagen's pulled on the rim. And anytime that happens, that's an automatic basket.
So count the bucket, 5-point lead now for the Dukes. Brinkley can't corral that pass. Ron Curry, the freshman out of New Jersey who has been sensational, comes away with a rebound. You look at the future, and you don't want to look past this year because everyone's still focused on the big game tomorrow night and the conclusion of this one. But things are going to be pretty good in Harrisonburg, and James Madison for Matt Brady and his crew coming back next year.
Well, if they can stay healthy, they have some freshmen that have logged tremendous minutes this year that's going to put them in a great situation in terms of being prepared for the rigors of this league next year.
Higgins finally comes away with it, gives way to Anderson, who gives way to 3. Sadler hanging out on the wing. This time he's being guarded closely by Davis, KJ Davis. And a mugging. Brinkley just takes the much smaller Ron Curry almost to the ground.
Take a look here, loose ball, 2 guys going for it, and Brinkley was a little aggressive right there.
I think he was just trying to slap the ball away.
He was trying to come back through with the foul. Hit him on the shoulder. You know, you let that one go. That's no big deal. And I like how Delaware's bench didn't get into anything extra. Nation fell into.
Here's Sadler. He can dribble and drive now.
Oh, he can flat out score the basketball. He's just had an awful lot of trouble and difficulty finding open looks tonight.
2 of 11 on the night for the CAA scoring leader. Sadler now with just 5 points. Nation comes right back. Freshman.
That's exactly right. When you look at Nation, you look at Curry, these are 2 freshmen playing pivotal roles in this ball, on the success of this ball club. So next year, sophomores, they'll definitely be prime.
Brinkley, power move to the middle, up. Can't get it to fall, but he will go to the line. And the fans from JMU letting Brinkley know about it. Taylor Bessett picking up his 4th foul of the game. Brinkley from right here in Richmond, Virginia, graduate of Douglas Freeman High School, and nearly 70% free throw shooter. He knocks down the first. Bessick will have to come out. Goins comes in. Normally a good amount of points come from Monte Ross's bench, but tonight it's Brinkley carrying the load. He's the only bench player to score points. He's got 9 so far, 3 with a huge offensive rebound and a putback.
That was big. That was a huge, great job that time by 3 and not conceding the rebound, going after it. And now you see Delaware, it's a new ball game. Delaware's only down 2. They have to stay solid, not get caught up in the emotional part of the game. Let Monte Ross work the officials and the guys on the floor just play.
You know, if you were in the arena and you weren't looking at the scoreboard, you would think JMU's got this game clearly ahead. And you look at the scoreboard, it's a 2-point game. Delaware kind of playing ugly. Best scorer can't get a basket. That man can. So 5 quick points coming from Jarvis Threet. And just like that, it is Delaware on top of JMU 47-46. Come on back to Richmond for the final 8-18.
Paul, how many turnovers does
Monte Ross in his 7th year in Newark, Delaware, the head man for the Blue Hens, trying to work some magic on a terrible shooting night for his star, Devon Sadler. He has turned to other avenues, and Jarvis Threet, the sophomore out of right here in Richmond, Virginia, a graduate of Highland Springs High School, has provided that offensive lift, picking up 5 points in the last 30 seconds.
When you have good guard play, especially late in the season, you're going to always have yourself a chance. Sadler's been struggling, but what have they done? They've gone to Threet, and Threet's bailed them out.
3-point attempt coming, nothing there, and Sadler can't get it done offensively, so he comes up with a huge rebound. Into the lane, nowhere to go, gives up his dribble. Anderson bails him out. Threet feeling it, should have let it go. Nation blocks it clean. Baptiste comes away with it. Threet will go right back after it, drives the lane and puts it in. Scores mentality for Jarvis Threet. 9 points for the young man from right here in Richmond, all of them coming in the second half. Remember, he got 2 quick fouls in the first 3 minutes of this ball game. Nation can't get it to fall, and now the Dukes can't buy a basket. Timeout on the court. Delaware has pushed their lead back up to 3 by way of the shooting of Jarvis Threet, staying with it and dropping 2 on the Dukes. 10 the biggest lead of the game. Thanks, Paul. In the midst of an 8-0 run, they have a 3-point lead, and much of that coming by way of a local product in Jarvis 3.
Todd, sometimes you need your guys just to make plays, and Threed is doing it. You see right here, stays with his own shot, gets the offensive rebound right here, goes after the missed free throw, takes it back in for 2, and then comes down, pump fake, drives strong. He knows he's going to get hit, but he doesn't complain. He takes the hit anyway, and right there, he's landing 3 as well. As a coach, you draw up plays, you search. Delaware has struggled in their half-court offense. You can't draw up the things that Threed is doing here in the second half. He's just making solid basketball plays.
Sadler unable to get his offense going, so Threed has certainly picked it up. Hagens with a big rebound, puts it back in. So the Blue Hens are flying high now as they have found some offense, not in the form of Devon Sadler, the CAA leading scorer, but the contributing members of that offensive squad, the starters, Threed, Anderson, Brinkley, Hagens. Completely unbiased, we bring in the third member of our broadcast team, a proud Delaware grad, in Mike Corey.
Well, I tell you what, Jarvis Threed, what he's done energy-wise for the Blue Hens, they love it. They felt like they said, hey, it's our time during that last timeout, but Monte Ross cautioned him, like you were talking about, Ron, to just keep his head in the ballgame because he felt like he was fouled on that last drive to the basket. And just what you said earlier about Baptiste, he says, Carl, will you finish? Dunk it home when you get it inside.
Here's my thing. If you could dunk, I would stay home and dunk all day. Lawn needs to be mowed, I don't care, I'm going to go out and dunk. If I could dunk, I would do it all day long for no reason.
Well, but guys your size usually say stuff like that.
I've always got Spud Webb believing.
But early in this game, we were trying to say, we were looking at, Delaware, they weren't in a flow, things weren't going well, and we were trying to figure out what was going on. Their last 7 games have been decided by 2 points or less. So they've been accustomed to playing these ugly basketball games and finding a way to come out victorious.
You said ugly, not me. Hagens, 12 points, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks, a complete game for him so far. Young man out of Roanoke, Virginia. We talked about the product and the quality of basketball players that come out of the Virginia area. Just amazing. JMU now trying to get the shots. All nation driving, can't get it to drop. But again, you gotta like the offensive mindset of young Andre Nation, the freshman from Plant City, Florida.
He's really, really talented. He has a huge, huge upside. And why he's so tough is because he plays on both ends of the floor. As you see, he catches it here, doesn't settle for the pull-up jump shot, tries to get all the way to the basket. Baptiste, the idea was right. He came over, but he was moving just a little bit to his right, and the officials caught it.
I always wonder how, and you can answer this from a former coach perspective in the NCAA, how a kid from Florida makes it all the way up to interior Virginia. He's passing over a lot of good schools that just didn't see it, Alan, or just thought, not our program.
Well, it's all about relationships. It's all about relationships. It's all about people you know. And also what happens a lot of times are former players at one university, they have relationships at other places, and that's how Nation came to JMU. He had a close relationship to a former player, and he's here.
Intentional and the basket. Threed did not want to allow A.J. Davis another highlight dunk, so he grabs him from behind.
Watch this. Davis is in full speed, tries to grab him from behind, but that's all weight room. That's the strength and conditioning coach on the side on the bench, right? You see him at the end of the bench for JMU. He's as proud as he can be because right now that was just sheer conditioning, sheer brute strength, and A.J. Davis was able to explode through and finish it.
He's already had 2 explosive dunks on the day, and Threet, whether it was wise or not, commits the foul, the intentional. So Threet now with 4 fouls with 5:07 to play, and he has been the offensive catalyst. So Monte Ross can ill afford to lose in, as A.J. Davis, a 68% free throw shooter, misses on the first. Now remember, it's the 2 shots and the ball. So this could turn out to be as upwards of a 6-point play or a 5-point play if they can get a basket here. All tied up at 51. Curry finds Nation. This is a mismatch. Baptiste much bigger, but Nation much quicker. Curry left alone momentarily, off the mark on the 3, and Sadler comes away with the rebound. Boy, if you're Monte Ross and the Delaware Blue Hen fan, you'd love to see Devon Sadler warm up over these last 4.5 minutes.
And he's really capable. You know, he struggled the entire game. You can't go away from him. He's the one that has gotten you to this point in the season. You can't forget about him.
Devon Moore's going to match up with him. Knocked away. Baptiste up and in. Didn't need to dunk it that time.
And that's what you call making a play. Loose ball, you got to get those 50-50 balls. He explodes up and just makes a layup.
53-51, 4 minutes to play. I'm sorry, Ron, how well do you think James Madison can play in this slow-down half-court set as it comes down to crunch time? Well, huge block. And that may get Sadler going. Go ahead.
Good job. With JMU, the reason they've slowed down just a bit, they're trying to figure out where the mismatches are. What big is guarding their guard?
Jump ball situation. The arrow points the way of the Hens. Carl Baptiste, the transfer from St. Joe's. Right man, right place, right finish from Monte Ross. 55-51, Blue Hens on top of the Dukes. Saturday night Formula One arrives for the first time on the networks of NBC Universal. The 2013 season starts down under with the Formula One Rolex Australian Grand Prix. Coverage is live Saturday night and will be replayed Sunday afternoon only on the NBC Sports Network as we welcome Formula One to the family.
Ready, guys?
55-51, 3:24 to play. Delaware on top as we check in with Mike.
All right, Todd, as spirited Matt Brady in the last time out said, guys, they're just beating us to all the loose balls right now. We've got to get on it and get the ball back and don't give them second chance at the basket. He said, we're going to win the game. We just got to hustle and get to those loose balls. And as you see, a timeout taken by Delaware. Also said, you know, we're going to take the lead with a minute to go, and here's what we're going to do. And he was really into it with telling his guys what they want to do here in the final 3:15. We'll see if they can do that here down by 4.
Matt Brady, the 87 graduate of Siena, has seen plenty of basketball in his day. All right, Ron, how does he get that done? What do they need to do other than what Mike talked about of winning each ball?
The thing is, I think defensively, they're at a point where now they have to continue to be aggressive, but not make senseless fouls and put Delaware on the free throw line where they can start to get back in this ball game with the clock stop. From an offensive standpoint, don't totally take the air out of the ball, but be efficient in terms of what you're trying to get done in the half-court set. By that I mean, don't come down and just make a one-on-one move, but look to score out of your offense. Get a down screen, get a cross screen, get quick ball movement, and then look to attack.
And the next big question is, who would be your first option for going to on offense?
I put the ball in Devon Moore's hands and let him make that decision. Either it's going to be on him or he's going to be the one to penetrate and kick to a guy like Davis or even Ron Curry, who's hit some big shots.
Higgins comes around the corner, gives it over to Sadler, who lobs it up to Baptiste, deep in the post, mismatch there, and he goes right at it. A nice job. A.J. Davis had no answer for the much bigger Carl Baptiste.
That was one of the few times that Delaware took advantage of the mismatch that they had that time. That time, A.J. Davis far too small to contend with Baptiste on the post.
Wow, big shot. Andre Nation, the freshman, steps up and calmly drills the three, and it is a three-point lead now for the Blue Hens. Can they maintain it? Stick around and find out when we return to Richmond. In 2:37, we should have our second finalist. Northeastern has already punched their ticket to the championship game tomorrow night. One of these two teams will join them. And here's Delaware once again.
The chess match begins right here. We see the mismatch. Davis on Baptiste. He's far too small. Baptiste goes right to the jump hook.
So Delaware breaks the full court press of the Dukes. And they'll slow it down a little bit and look for a very high quality, high percentage shot. Higgins comes across, wanted to give it to Sadler, but he was guarded too closely by Nation. This is three, trying to get free, trips over the leg of Moore, and there's Sadler wide open with a shot clock at 6. Nation is just putting a lockdown on Devon Sadler.
Again, the length of the guards defensively from JMU is giving Delaware all kinds of problems. You see right here, isolated at the top of the key. Nation is 6'5". Sadler's 6'2". Measures him, gets the block. Shot clock violation.
That is freshman on junior crime right there, and that is the second time the freshman has blocked the shot of the CAA's leading scorer. Under 2 minutes to play now. Still a three-point lead for the Blue Hens. No need to panic now for the Dukes. Get a quality shot. Levon Moore directing traffic, sending everyone to his right. Shot clock now at 10. Nation off the mark that time, but Moore comes away with it. Fresh clock. Minute 25 to play in this one. Davis up and under. He's fouled by Higgins. And not a bad option, Ron.
Second chance opportunities right there. You've got to retrieve this ball if you're Delaware. But Davis, isolated on the wing, doesn't settle for the jump shot, drives hard and draws the foul. But Davis was in a situation where he can make that move because Delaware did not box out and secure the rebound.
It certainly helps to have a 40-inch plus leaping ability that A.J. Davis possesses. Knocks down the first, so he cuts it to a 2-point game. Minute 22 to go. Timeout situation. Both teams have 2. Possession arrow going the way of James Madison. Hits them both. So they sub out Davis, bring in Diouf for defensive purposes. It's a 1-point game. Put the ball in the hands of Threet. Full court pressure. Gives way to Anderson. They're going to have to hurry getting around the timeline. Kicks it across, and there's Anderson ready to retrieve. Normal situations, I think Kyle Anderson pulls the trigger on that 3, but now with just about a minute 2 to go, Delaware's going to get a high percentage shot here. Sadler, 3. Off the mark, but it's Higgins with the rebound. Tries to kick it out to reset it, and it's picked off. So 10-second differential, 39 on the game clock, 29 on the shot clock, and JMU down by just 1.
That time I thought Higgins was in a situation when he got the ball, just take a power dribble and explode back. You see Threet misses the jump shot. He's right there. Take a power dribble and come back into play and explode. Use your jumping ability right here. Look, if he takes a power dribble back, just one strong dribble back, JMU would have certainly fouled him.
And he was in a tough situation for the big man because he was well underneath the backboard. Couldn't throw a pass with much of an arc on it, but great job by Matt Brady's Dukes for picking that one off. And now they put themselves in a position to take the lead. 39.5 seconds. Delaware, 2 timeouts. JMU now just down to 1.
Right now, if you're Delaware, you're going to pick up, you're going to put token pressure on JMU. You don't want them to just get a straight line pushing the ball to the basket. 29 seconds on the shot clock. Delaware will get another possession. They will get another possession. You definitely don't want to give up a 3 in this situation. If you're JMU, you're going to look to go early. You're not going to let this shot clock wind down. You're going to go for the first solid shot you can get without being in a heated rush. Look for Devon Moore to get the ball, high ball screen, and put a shooter like Nation or Davis in the corner.
Team foul situation identical at 5, and this really is, Ron, as you put it out, win or go home, because as much parity and quality as there is in the CAA, I don't see the NCAA selection committee taking 2 teams out of the CAA. So they get 1. So you've got to win this tournament if you want to go to the big dance.
Exactly. There's been no team in this conference that did what Bruiser Flint did last year, and they didn't take an at-large bid team last year. So right now you have to win it to get into the NCAA tournament, I sincerely believe.
Bruiser Flint, the head coach at Drexel, they were knocked out yesterday in the quarterfinals. So here we go, shot clock, game clock, 10-second differential. They put the ball in the hands of Curry.
Not for long.
Not for long, exactly. Devon Moore now will take over. Double team coming. Nation driving hard to the basket. Baptiste blocks it away. Huge defensive stand, and give credit to Carl Baptiste for holding his ground and making a great play.
You know, Baptiste did an excellent job at jumping straight up in the air. The verticality rule was in effect right here. Look here, his arms are straight up. Nation just puts the ball right in his hands. And credit the officials for staying consistent.
Yeah.
They have not been bailing players out on these drives to the basket.
Not a shooting situation, so Kyle Anderson will inbound. And they've had problems getting it there, and he's got to burn a timeout. Luckily, Delaware has 2. They're now down to 1. So each team 1 timeout. And you think, well, Nation maybe not the best shot. I thought maybe even taking an outside jumper, but they're only down by 1. Even if they yield a basket, they're still in a position to tie it with a 3.
Exactly, that same motion, the isolation move, the drive to the basket, he'd had success early in the game, so they went back to it. I would have loved to have seen a guy like A.J. Davis get his hands on the ball, because he's a guy that once he makes his move, he's so athletic. When he pulls up for his jump shot, no one's there, or if he drives to the basket, he's so explosive. Look for JMU now to foul early. When the ball gets inbound, they're not going to let Delaware just run out the clock. They're trying to pick out who the poor free throw shooters are. Right now, Baptiste, he's one of the poorest ones at 67%. But the primary ball handlers are going to be Sadler, Anderson, as well as Street handling this ball coming down the stretch.
13.3 seconds to go in the game. Each team with 1 timeout left. Anderson triggers the inbound play. It's knocked out of bounds. Great job by Nation.
Yeah, Threed has to be careful because Nation has nothing to lose but being overly aggressive going for the ball. If he gets it, great. If the officials call a foul, they just set up their defense.
12.7 seconds. And 3 is fouled, but no, he steps out of bounds.
And that's a prime example. You have to be strong with the ball. Diouf was overly aggressive. This was right in front of us. You see it right here. There is a little bit of a push, but not enough to just totally bail out on the play. And Threed has to be stronger with the ball in that situation. That time I thought Threed was trying to bait the official too much to make the call as opposed to being strong with the ball.
Moore driving to the basket. They're going to call the foul.
Take a look here. You see Moore driving hard to the basket. The help comes, and from our angle, it looked like Hagen's got all ball, but the officials were right there on top of it, and they thought otherwise.
So Moore is 75% free throw shooter. Let's look at that inbound play one more time, because I really struggle to see where he stepped out. Oh, it was the ball. Is he saying the ball bounced on the line?
They called out of bounds. Yes, they called out of bounds on the ball.
Devon Moore hits the second. Monte Ross has got to be saying, are you kidding me? We had this wrapped up just like we did earlier this year at home, and they took it from us. So the Dukes with a 1-point lead, 3.7 seconds. JMU takes a timeout.
With all that Devon Moore has been through this year, dealing with his mom and the cancer, he said, look, I approach every day like it's my last, seeing the strength that she's exuded all year. He walked up to that free throw line, absolutely nailed it.
Well, Kathy, you have raised a good one in Devon Moore. He has been a warrior, Carol, he has been a warrior tonight. 58-57, 3.7 seconds remain. Delaware still has that 1 timeout. Higgins, Sadler, pulls the trigger. The Dukes are moving on. Ross trying to plead his case to the officials, nothing doing. JMU comes from behind to get the win over the 2-seed Delaware Blue Hens.
When you talk about a hard-fought game both ways, credit JMU, though, for staying with it, using their small lineup, and Devon Moore. What more can you say about that young man? Yesterday, controlled the whole game. Today, did the exact same thing.
Wow. It doesn't get much closer than that. A 58-57 win for James Madison. following up with our first semifinal where Northeastern comes from behind 24 points down. They get the win as Jonathan Lee puts in the game winner with 3 seconds left. It all kind of stems from this point. You know, Delaware's got the lead. They throw it inbounds, and that's where they're saying basically
the officials are saying that the ball hit the end line. At first we thought it was a foul that he was calling, but instead he said the ball hit the end line. He was right there on top of it. He was strong, aggressive with the call. And then the very next possession, you see Moore drives hard to the basket. It looks from this angle that Higgins gets all ball, but the officials are on another angle. They say he fouls him on the arm. Then Moore goes to the free throw line calmly, coolly, nails both of them.
My new hero, Carroll's son, Devon, steps up and knocks them both home, and those prove to be the game winners as we sit down to Mike Corey.
All right, thanks very much, Todd, here with Coach Brady. Congratulations. How did you guys pull this one out?
You know, we'll have to go back and look at the film. Like, I'm not exactly sure. Our kids play with a lot of heart. We didn't always play smart. We did some dumb things. But we played hard all year, and they fought till the very end. I told these guys with 4 minutes to go, we were going to get a lead before this horn sounded. We just had to hold it at the end. They kind of looked at me like I was crazy, but they believed all year, and they came through for us tonight.
I know you felt like Delaware was beating you to some loose balls, getting a couple of offensive rebounds. You turned that around late in this ball game to get the win.
No, it was great. Our guys keep fighting. We had to keep driving, and they were bigger than we were. We wanted to drive them. They got all the loose balls, and I'd like to think that our team is going to come up with some of those balls. They did a better job than us for a long stretch in the second half, coming up with those loose balls, but we kept fighting. You know, this game ain't over till the horn sounds, and we played right to the horn.
What does this say about your team effort, the way everybody seemed to come together to help you guys into your first championship game since 1997?
Well, you know what? It's a tribute to the players. You know, I've said all along, our freshmen are trying to help our seniors. Our seniors are leading. It's taken them a long time here to learn how to lead. I've got a great one here in Devon. We don't always play well, but we're playing hard, and that's all you can ask from a group like this.
Last thing from you, tomorrow night, Northeastern, what's that going to be like playing for the CAA title?
Well, we haven't beat them, so it's going to be an opportunity to get a payback. Billy's a great coach. I think, you know, he's one of the best coaches of this league. He's one of the best coaches in the country. They've got an emotional win. We have an emotional win. Maybe we'll both be on fumes, but it should be a heck of a game.
Coach, thanks so much. Congratulations. Good luck tomorrow night. Let's bring in Andre Nation here. And JMU Nation, you get it done for these guys. Take us through the final stages of this ball game and what you and your teammates were saying to each other as you tried to get the lead back and eventually win it.
We were just trying to stay together, man. Like, I mean, they had to put a big on me, so we just tried to attack. I mean, my senior point guard trusted me to get the winning bucket. Unfortunately, I didn't get it, but he came back and made a good play, and he got 2 free throws and we won the game.
What was Delaware's defense doing to you guys early on, and then how did you overcome some of the things in the second half to get the win?
I think we just took, like, quick shots. I don't think their defense really did anything to us. I think we just took a lot of quick shots in the shot clock. I mean, once we settled down, we got to the cup, we got baskets, so that's how it went.
At what point during the season, through all the things that you guys go through, injuries, adversity, did maybe there was a time where you came together and said, guys, we can get this done. We are one of the best teams in this league?
Oh, man, we've been saying that since day one. Like, it wasn't a point in time. We knew since day one that we were good. Even through injuries, we knew we could play for each other. Unfortunately, we didn't get Andre Seminoff back, so that hurt us. But we knew what we had, man. We won, man. I can't say nothing else, man. We just won.
Congratulations. Good luck tomorrow night. Andre Nation. Let's bring in Devon Moore. Wow. I'll tell you what, I don't know if you could explain the emotions, you know, what's happening right now. Obviously, with your mother being ill, you going back and forth to Columbus, you come in here. What a performance tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I give it all to James Madison, man. They gave me an opportunity to play here. It's been a great, you know, run, and I definitely don't want to go home, and I know the players with me don't, so it's all for James Madison. I thank you, and I'm truly blessed to be here.
I know you dedicated this season and these games to your mom and your family, and how much support, you know, that you have from them right now as you step out here on the court. It's very admirable.
It's amazing, man. My family has been through the ups and downs and stuff. Definitely, you know, the stuff that's going on with my mom, and, you know, for them to be here, it's amazing. I definitely want to get this one for my mom, so I'm truly blessed. And like I said, thanks, JMU Nation.
How about the plays that you made in the final stages of this ball game with your teammates to propel you to the win? Talk to us about what you did as a leader to help this team out.
Just try to, you know, take what the defense gave me. You know, I knew that they was going to try to play me hard, so just making sure that I look for my open team. And I got a lot of faith in him and knocking down shots. And Andre, you know, did good. Ron Curry came in and hit a couple shots. Taylor did good. So, I mean, I just having faith in him and just, you know, thankful that I'm in that position to, you know, make a play for him.
Last thing, you look up into the rafters and the banner is hanging up here in the Richmond Coliseum. 1994 is the last time James Madison won the CAA championship. You got an opportunity for that tomorrow night.
I can't wait, man. This is definitely for JMU, and I definitely want to take one home, my last go-around, so I can't wait, can't wait.
Congratulations, great performance. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Devon Moore for James Madison. They win it by a point over Delaware, 58-57. JMU Nation will be here tomorrow night playing for a CAA championship. Let's go back to Todd.
Thank you, Mike. 20 points versus William & Mary last night. 14 points versus Delaware.